Okay, travel vlog update. Americans leaving for Russia and Serbia day. We're on like, I don't know, day 390. So we're currently in Vienna, Austria, currently in a forest by a castle, like a mile from my Airbnb. So we get a place, it's got to be probably 4 or 5 miles outside the city center. All these places say, we're in Vienna, or the one we got in Romania is like, we're in Bucharest, but it's like a 40-minute drive to downtown. So we're kind of like in the outskirts here. This took a walk about a mile from my Airbnb, and then there's this beautiful forest with, like, I think a castle here. There's castles all over Europe. It's beautiful. Europe's beautiful with the trees and whatnot. So enjoying Vienna. My girls have silks aerial classes. They're training with different trainers all over the world. So that's been the main part of downtown. So maybe I'll have my guy post some of the pictures of downtown Vienna's. Really pretty. The buildings are super cool. Museums, the statues, everything's super cool. The cleanest city we've been to. After being in the Balkans for the last year or so, like, they solved the trash problem here. I mean, they got trash cans everywhere, the big bins. And this is what I was trying to tell people in Serbia and North Macedonia. I was like, dude, the Balkans, the Yugoslavian countries, they'd be way ahead of Europe and everywhere if they just, oh shit, if they just cleaned up the trash. Like, if they just got bins with lids at work. I don't know what they do with all their money, but the Austrians, that German efficiency, and they all basically say they're German and they speak German. There isn't even an Austrian language, so I guess it's Germany from what all my Uber drivers tell me. And it does seem very efficient, very well maintained, they're very rule following from what I gather so far, which is interesting after being in the Balkans, which isn't, what, 6-8 hours away, if that. Where they're a little more unruly, and they don't seem to follow as many rules, and have, like, they just park wherever. And but like, somehow it all works there in the Balkans. I actually prefer the Balkans. It speaks to my freedom nature. It's a little too rule followy here for my taste, but the cleanliness is nice. It is nice to not see trash everywhere, because even though it's super safe in the Balkans, they do, like, especially Macedonia, Kosovo, parts of Belgrade that we were in, there's just trash everywhere because they don't put lids on the top of the dumpsters, or and they don't and they, like, don't pick up the trash appropriately. So if the Balkans fix their trash thing, dude, they would leapfrog over the European Union. And that's just my opinion from being outside. And it has been really cool seeing all these different nationalities. And we haven't even been that many places, like 15 countries though, but you see people from all over. China. I met the guy, Uber driver was from Afghanistan the other day. Super cool dude. Met one from Somalia yesterday. So I love talking to people. My favorite part of traveling is just meeting people from all over the world and discovering we're all the same, man. It's all the same. All people are the same. All governments are corrupt. But then everybody still loves their country. So we're all brainwashed in a certain respect to our area. And I think that's the scam. Like, they get you on this national pride. So then they can get you to go fight for them. The bankers, or the evil elites, or the lizard people, as I call them, which seems like it's most likely the case. It has to be these lizard people, aliens, are in charge. That's the only thing that makes sense, because all these wars are so dumb and so unnecessary. It seems like the only time you should have a war is, like, if a bunch of dudes are coming in trying to steal your home. Like, that would be the only time, not just over these little disputes and territories and whatnot. It's all just a big scam for bankers. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But if we don't fix the money, that's just going to keep going on. That's why I'm a huge Bitcoin proponent of and Monero, more Monero so than Bitcoin, as it's untraceable. It's like cash, has all the same properties as Bitcoin, except for you can transact with it better. So, well, that's going to take a while for that to take off, but hopefully we're at the end of the bear market here. It's August, I don't know, 6th, 2026, somewhere around there. So we'll see how it goes. This is my fourth cycle, but so far, so I think I'm gonna start heading back. I don't want to be too loud. They say Americans and tourists are loud here. They're very quiet people here. It's like walking in like a meditation CD everywhere, even in the city. It's very quiet. It's like London, or at least the parts of London I was in. I was so surprised when we landed in London from the US and you go walking and like nobody's talking loud. The vehicles are quiet. Nobody's honking. It's like very organized. People aren't yelling and screaming and having parties, and I don't know, it's just very quiet. Their cars are quiet. A lot of them are electric vehicles, so it's quiet. Now I don't know if I'd live here in Austria. It's too rule following, and I think I'm embracing my Indian roots since I'm more Native American. I don't know what part Native American I am, but I'm from the Yaqui Indian tribe, the only tribe to never surrender to the Spanish, the Americans, or the Mexicans, as I remind myself, if I didn't say that in a previous video, which I'm sure I did because I'm loving that. And then we watched the video on like the whole history of the Yaqui Indians, Yaqui. And it's like, we're not a very big tribe, but we were like feisty, and like we'd fight them, and then we drew a line in the sand, which I think is where that came from. I'm taking it. They drew a line in the sand for the Spanish, and they said, don't cross that line. And then like we were just like fierce warriors. Like they couldn't beat us. Plus we didn't really have much. We just like lived in the mountains of Mexico, but we were like good farmers. Oh shit, which way did I come from? So well, I'll get lost in a forest in Austria. That sounds fun. So it's not like we had a lot to take. And then now there's just like a few that live in squalor in the mountains, but we don't pay taxes, nobody. So I'm really embracing that. All these governments are a scam. Every single one is a scam. So they just extract as much money from you, convince you to go, die for that country, send your kids to die, take it. Some have better things than others. So, but like just because you're born in a certain area doesn't mean it's some magical paradise. There's a lot to offer in all these different countries. So my strategy now is to live in different areas, kind of like we follow a nomad capitalist on YouTube. He helps, 7-figure entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs like relocate to these different countries. Oh, I think I did the right one. I'm only like 50 yards from the main pass. And I like that because I remember talking to Andrew. We paid for his services, which I found was quite overpriced. Now that we've been doing this, we found way less expensive ways to do it than pay nomad capitalists. But they were very efficient for sure. And the ladies helping you were very beautiful Serbian women. So that was fun. Anyway, so we've used like Wealthy Expat, all these different dudes, but they have good points. Like, just go where you're treated best. Go to areas. Dude, we were saving so much money being out of the US in taxes because the first 130,000 per person, if you're out more than, I think it's 330 days or 300 days, you don't have to pay taxes on your first 260,000 in income, which is around $70,000. So even though my income has not went up in the last 2 or 3 years, where did I come from? This one. I think I came from this side. Hasn't went up in the last, I don't know, three years or so, because we're in the travel business. And then like, yeah, go to our website, vacationssimplified.com. We have 500 condos you can stay in all over the US, all over everywhere, basically. Orlando, all the high-end timeshare properties, Marriott, Westin, Hilton, Hyatt, Disney, Wyndham, Worldmark. They're nice. They're like 1-2 bedroom condos in the style of the hotels. So it's like you're staying at a hotel, but you have a condo. So you have a kitchen, you save money on food. And if you book it through us at vacationsimplified.com, you get 10 to 70% off of the retail price. And if you own a timeshare and you're not going to use it, we can rent it out for you, timesharesimplified.com. So that's my quick plug, because I'm not sponsored by anybody and I'm just making these videos to help with my tax deductions proof. So, and if anybody wants to follow along. But so far my plan is we're going to buy a house in Ankara, Turkey, because you get citizenship if you spend 400,000. I think I just follow this. And then probably going to buy a place in Belgrade, Serbia, because Belgrade's been my favorite. Serbs are the best so far. They're the most interesting to talk to. They're the coolest. They're the most helpful. And the food, still the best. The food, we've had some okay food here in Vienna. We haven't went out that much here yet, so I can't pass judgment yet. And my wife has a brain injury, so she doesn't like to go out that much anyway. So we're not really like eating at the fancy places downtown or whatever. But like the pastries definitely weren't as good as Belgium or Serbia. But we only ate at like two different shops, so that's not fair. I bought them chocolates from like downtown yesterday. They weren't that great. I don't know, something about how the Serbs food. But when we were in Bratislava, Slovakia, we had Turkish food, and we're moving to Turkey, and Turkish food is awesome. So much meat and flavor and seasoning and spices too. I'm excited to go to Turkey. Looks very nice. So we're in the middle trying to buy a property in Turkey, which is a little difficult. Like they don't I don't know. We've only been getting in contact with like, I guess, realtors that just do like those specific buildings. So trying to figure out if you're getting ripped off or not. But we have other, like those expat helper guys that we use. So hopefully they'll find us a good realtor and we can find a decent place to land. You only have to keep it for 3 years, then you can sell it. So as long as it's not too horrible and there's some parks and whatnot. I know there's not as much nature. I love nature, so I liked walking around in the trees. Okay, so we got Vienna, Austria. Then we were in Bratislava, Slovakia. That was cool. Very clean city. Like, not a ton going on. They had like a castle. Castle, probably a few other things. I don't know. Did I come down this? So, had like a few other things. It was very nice. Very peaceful too. We had this for $3,000 a week, which is the cost of my Marriott timeshare maintenance fee. I want to see if I can keep going in the woods. Got a 12,000 square foot mansion with an indoor swimming pool, and this indoor swimming pool is like an Olympic-sized swimming pool. It was unbelievable. Oh, this is going down. For like the same price as my timeshare maintenance fee at the Timber Lodge in Lake Tahoe. So, and that was cool. So go to Slovakia. But then there was like no, oh yeah, I remember this. Okay. There was like no walking paths really. Guess the old, I don't think were they communists? Yeah, I think they were communists. So Bratislava was cool. I didn't really care for Hungary, Budapest, and Romania, Bucharest. Now, to be fair, I wasn't like downtown. I didn't go to any of the nightclubs. I mean, I ate at the JW Marriott downtown Bucharest. So we walked around that huge government building, it was freaking huge. I took my daughter. It was like hot. And the Uber guy dropped us off on one side. And by the time we walked around just to the other side of that government building, It was like a mile and a half, took us like 20 minutes or something just to get to the other side of the building. It was huge. And then we got ice cream, which was okay. We ate at the JW. I tried some of their local dishes. So I thought if you're going to try something local, do it at, a nice place at the JW. I didn't find it that awesome. Not like in Serbia, like you go in, like we were staying on block 45 in New Belgrade, which I don't think was like the highfalutin area. And just the little shops, even their meats and everything. It's just so good. Everything better than even the high-end places. So that's about. Now I did like Sofia, Bulgaria. I don't remember when the last video I did was. So Sofia, Bulgaria is really cool. Beautiful women. Oh my God. Hope my wife doesn't watch this, but she knows. I already told her. Because I walk 3 to 6 miles a day. And then what I'll do is whatever my girls have gym class, which is usually downtown anywhere, I walk in different directions, the 5 miles, just to get a sense of the area. And then if there's a forest, and then that place we had in Bulgaria, it was like in the middle of the town, and there's a huge park next to it. Then you walk like across the main street, and then there's like a forest, and I ate at this awesome restaurant in the middle of the forest. So Sofia, Bulgaria is one of my top 2 now. So I'd have to say Belgrade's my favorite. Belgrade, Serbia is my favorite. Bulgaria is now number 2. Little North Macedonia is actually moving up in my eyes. I didn't find the people in Budapest and Hungary and Romania, they weren't very friendly. They weren't like, you couldn't really talk to them. They were kind of like sus of outsiders. And I'm chatty, man. I get out there. I talk to people. My wife's like, I have a thing, like 90% of people like love me. And then 10% of people like just like Vietnamese hate me. I don't know if that's the right word. But apparently that 10% lives in Romania and Hungary, because like I could not get any of those people to talk. Any of the neighbors, the people walking around, the Uber drivers, and they didn't speak a ton of English in Hungary. Maybe in the downtown part by the, in the tourist sections, they did. And then seeing how the different people eat, like the poor areas, like Macedonia, Croatia, Montenegro, they have, like the Balkans has the most beautiful women, but because they don't have a lot of money, they eat a lot of carbs. And all these places where they eat a lot of carbs and not a lot of meat, the women go downhill really fast. And I don't know if it's just because I'm on the carnivore diet kick and I see how much better I feel just eating meat, how much weight I've lost, how easy it is to keep the weight off, seeing the people in the carnivore community and how good they look even in their 40s and 50s. And the one lady that's just like accidentally only ate meat, and she's like 85 now and she looks like she's like 50. Like the places that eat the most protein look the best. The places that don't have a lot of money or protein's not huge, you can tell their body, they just have like way less muscle, way less shape to their bodies. They look way unhealthier. They don't look as good. So it's been interesting seeing all the different types. Probably Americans, I know there's a lot of heavy Americans, of course, but probably Americans, some of the best looking people too. Probably top 2 or 3. But obviously I lived in Las Vegas and spent a lot of time in California, and would go to Florida and stuff. So and then we lived in the South. So in Nashville, there's a lot of heavy people because it's just all fried food, and like deep fried this and sweet tea with a pound of sugar in it. And like they had the worst diets ever there. Plus they were kind of poor too. So they ate a lot of processed food and junk. So my advice, eat a lot of protein, go carnivore. I feel way better on carnivore. I've been drinking, like I stopped drinking for many years, but since we've been on this trip, I got on a champagne kick and I feel like shit adding drinking back. Even if I eat mostly meat and I'll have like a couple bites of dessert or something, like a paleo cookie my wife makes or something, I feel way worse. So just eating meat and no alcohol. But I really like champagne, but oh well. I'm still gonna drink it, just not as frequently because I do not feel as good. So it seems to me the superior diet for looks and health is just to eat a shitload of meat. And I'll walk over here so it's quieter. So, and then for workouts, I just been, instead of trying to find gyms everywhere, I just been doing push-ups as I walk the dog. I just do a set of push-ups every 2 minutes, 20 seconds. I brought my X3 bar so it's like the equivalent of lifting weights. So I do that 3 or 4 times a week. And then if not, I'm just some weird Mexican guy, American, doing push-ups in the street wherever I go, on the side of the road, in parks, in forest. I just got done, did 7, 14, 16 sets push-ups, so probably close to 1,000 push-ups, and then shoulder presses. I do at the end everything. I feel way better working out, do yoga once a week with the X3 bar, and that's how I've been able to do my workouts traveling. But there's gyms everywhere. I mean, but they're not as prevalent as in the US. Just depends on what area you're in. All right, I think that's a long ass video. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. That's the update on this part. EU, very pretty so far. Beautiful buildings, architecture. I'm not a fan of Romania or Hungary. I probably wouldn't go back to those places again. Austria is nice. Probably no, I'm going to stay out of the EU. I like the more unruly Balkans. And then, of course, we're making our way. So we're going to we got a private chartered jet thing, which is not that much money over here. It's like 13 grand. And we're going to take a private jet from Vienna to Tivat, Montenegro. And then I got another one from Tivat to Ankara, Turkey in November. And it's like 20 something grand, which it could be a lot, but it's not that much considering I'm saving like 70,000 a year in taxes I would have just had to pay to the US government. So with no change to my income, I'm able to smoke cigars every day, fly privately, still put away 2 or 3,000 a month, plus all the money we're saving on food and housing and everything. I calculated it out. Not so much in the EU, because the EU is pretty expensive, but we were saving like close to $10,000 to $13,000 a month. So without any change in my income, just not living in the US, doing this geo arbitrage thing, and that's staying at Airbnbs, like basically paying full price, $2,000 or $3,000 a week. Some of them we've gotten for like, $1,500 to $2,000 a week in the cheaper areas. But if you rented like a nice house in Serbia or Greece, if you rent them for like 6 months or a year, dude, they're super cheap and super nice. You can get nice houses for like 1,000 to 3,000 a month. Like I found this sweet house, like 3,000 square foot house in Greece for like 3 grand a month. That was like beautiful swimming pool overlooking a Greek house. So, my advice: figure out something you can do with AI online. Make at least 2 to 4,000 doing something online that you love. Use AI to show you how to do everything step by step. Make 2 to 4 grand, and then just live somewhere cheaper and save that money and retire. And like, I have no possessions. We have I just ordered some shirts for the first time. So we have 4 suitcases. No, we have 7 suitcases. And I have an Instapot and like an ice machine and a bunch of stuff because we have our own van. And then it's so freeing not having all that stuff, not having a house full of shit. So, all right, that's my advice. Peace out.